So Scavengers is finished. Boo-hoo. The rehearsal and performance of Scavengers was part of your scripted performance module. So now it's time for you to reflect on the work that you've done. So I want to explain how you will get feedback on your work, and also to give you some questions to help your reflection. So you'll receive feedback in a tutorial in January. And this tutorial will be with the staff who worked on the project. So that's 4 people. Me, Mel, Rita, and Tim. So we've been assessing your work in 2 stages: rehearsal and performance. And these are the 2 stages that we'll give you feedback on. But we want this tutorial to be a dialogue. So all of us, obviously with an interpreter, will discuss your progress, what you did well, and those areas of work where you can still improve. So the reflection and feedback are based on the module descriptor for scripted performance. The module descriptor, if you want to read it, is on Moodle. And for this one module, there are 4 learning outcomes. I think they're quite complicated, so I want to clarify them for you. So assessment is in 2 stages with 2 learning outcomes for each stage. So the learning outcomes are what we use to assess you and also what you should be reflecting on. So stage 1, rehearsal. So 2 learning outcomes, learning outcome 3 and learning outcome 4, are connected to the rehearsal process when we were working together in room 2. So learning outcome 3, that's about the choices you made in rehearsal. It's really about how you interpreted the text from the page into action. And when I talk about interpretation, here I'm including several different things: English into BSL, English script into VV, English into movement, or how you used English to make character or to tell story. So the questions I suggest you ask yourself are: what work did you do to understand the text? Were you happy with your interpretation of the text? So how did you use the text to create character or atmosphere or tell story? Or how did you use movement in rehearsal? The next learning outcome 4, is about your professional behaviour in the process. It talks about autonomy. Autonomy means being reliant on yourself, preparing on your own, keeping good time, whether you need other people or whether you can work by yourself to prepare things. So professional behaviour has really 4 parts to it. Autonomy, your input into the process, how well you collaborated with everyone, and also the personal qualities that you need as an actor. So just to explain that a little bit more, the questions I'd like you to ask yourself in your reflection for learning outcome 4. How much work did you do outside the rehearsal room? How did you work? Was the work you did outside useful? Would you do it differently next time? How was your timekeeping? What was your attitude like in rehearsals? Were you positive? Supportive? Did you actively contribute ideas and also take suggestions from the director or from other people? Do you feel you were supportive of other people and of the whole process of putting on a play? So that's learning outcomes 3 and 4, connected to the rehearsal process. So now we move on to stage 2, the performance. And these 2 learning outcomes 1 and 2, are based on your performance in front of a live audience. So learning outcome 1 asks you to show that you are learning how to apply the skills you have in a theatre show. So this is really the integration of 3: acting, expression and movement. So this means also communicating well with your partners, that's the people you're working on stage with, and how well you also communicated with the audience. It also means recognizing the need to express yourself so that your communication carries over a larger distance, and that's both vocally and visually. So the questions I'd like you to ask yourself for learning outcome 1 are: do you think you combined the 3 skills, acting, expression and movement, well? Can you give examples? Next one, did you adapt your voice/BSL expression to the needs of the space? So were you able to change when you moved from the room into the theatre, this bigger space? Scavengers had a particular style of storytelling and of showing character. Do you think you matched that style, achieved that style? Learning outcome 2, this is the last learning outcome. It asks whether you used imagination, physical skill, and a range of language use in performance. And if also you were adaptable to changes in the process. I'll explain what that means. So in the questions I'd like you to ask yourself, when we talk about changes or being adaptable, changes happened because of technical reasons or because I made different choices. Were you able to change what we'd rehearsed and adapt to these new challenges? Can you give examples? Another question to ask yourself is, the audience reads your body to understand your character, the atmosphere, and the story and the changes in the story, do you think the audience were able to pick up your body language and read you easily? So when you reflect, try to be objective. It's not easy, but I'm asking you to try and stand outside yourself and look at yourself from the outside, how you think other people see you. Try to think back over what you did well. Compliment yourself for what you did well. And then think about things you didn't do quite so well, and then you want to improve as you move forward. You don't have to answer all the questions that I've written here. They're just to help you. There's a deadline for uploading reflection to your personal space, and that's Friday the 6th of January at 6 p.m.
Is that in spoken language or in sign?
Whichever language you choose. Could be written as well.
For the date again?
It's Friday the 6th of January at 6 p.m. And then the following week we will have tutorials where we'll use your reflection as part of our discussion. Okay.